Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Limbus Company. Alrighty, we officially have all the levels that we know will be here. 51 in this chapter, so it's gonna be a long one. I've also been told that apparently I need to especially go out of my way not to be spoiled for this one, because apparently this is gonna be the best Kanto so far. So we're just gonna resume right from where we left off. Wait. Which is over here. It put me on the wrong one. But we are gonna leave exactly where we left off.
LC 부서입니다.
Thank you, random announcer.
야, 이건
That's interesting. You can actually see multiple egos that we know about. There's the pink, what's it called? Roseate Desire, I believe. The sight that greeted us was nothing like what we remembered from our last visit for the regular checkup.
이미 상황이 끝났군.
본사 쪽에서 제압하는 중이거나 적어도 교전이 진행 중일 거라 예상했는데.
Yet there was nobody left standing, much less making a run for it. All we could see were bodies slumped along the floor, filling the corridor in motionless silence.
이렇게까지 처참하게 당했을 줄은 예상 못했는데. 파우스트 씨, LCE의 전투 가능한 인원의 비율이 어떻게 되는지 아시나요?
Probably none of them. They probably rely on the ego exclusively.
LCE는 다른 연구 부서에 비해 전투 테스트 및 실험 빈도가 잦습니다. 그렇기에 직원 대다수가 기본적인 전투 훈련을 이수한 뒤 입사했습니다. 착용하고 있는 에고 장비 또한 전투에서 충분한 성과를 거둘 수 있는 수준으로 연구와 추출이 진행되었지만 계획적인 급습을 원활히 대비할 수는 없었던 것으로 보이는군요.
실험실 속 샘님들이 거미들이 뛰어다니는 실전을 막아낼 수 있을 리가.
The memories came flooding back. Researchers jotting down our quick notes, our checkup results on piles of paper, and Hohenheim with his droopy, tired eyes leafing through the files. We'd barely exchanged goodbyes when he rounded up the burnt-out lab staff who were already pulling their hair out from the sheer level of stress to oversee another experiment in progress. Result. If you happen to notice anyone who looks like Hohenheim, let me know ASAP.
신원을 파악할 수 없는 시체를 세고 확인했으나 신장이나 복장 등을 고려하였을 때 호헨하임일 가능성은 확률적으로 매우 낮습니다.
시신의 상태를 보니까 대부분 제대로 저항해보지도 못하고 당했구나.
With a glum look in his eyes, Gregor examined the bodies strewn across the floor.
32구의 시체 중 26구의 시체가 동일한 외상을 보유하고 있습니다.
Identical!
공통적으로 흉부 중앙, 심장이 있는 위치에 나선형의 관통상이 있으며 흉기는 시체들의 손에 쥐어진 나선과 유사한 물체로 추정됩니다. 관리자님.
I wonder if it's a, like a coil blade, where you, like, aim it at someone and it just shoots out. Kind of like what, kinda like what Ivy has in, Soul Calibur, if you know who that is.
이 나선 이분들이 스스로 뽑아낸 것 같아요. 왜 이런?
부드럽군.
Ryoshu cast her gaze down, quietly eyeing her palm. From the cryptic words and the contemplative look on her face, I said that wrong, I could easily guess that she was taking a trip through the shadows of her past. touching an invisible object with her palm and feeling its texture, in search of something that should have been there in her hands. And I've been through enough to know that we would be revisiting her past together. However... Huh? What I witnessed was completely different from the memories of the other sinners I'd seen so far. The vision I saw was completely fragmented, as if a blade had cut up her memories into pieces. Within Ryoshu's memories, something did indeed rest in her palm. However, I couldn't even make out whether its hue was closer to black or white. Was it some kind of food, a weapon, or something else entirely? Even the expression that crossed her face when she saw it and the words that slipped from her lips in that moment escaped me. One thing I saw for sure, though, was that the person who, in all likelihood, had given it to her was letting out a lazy puff of smoke swirling into the air, watching Ryoshu's reaction in complete ease. I gazed back upon the cryptic scenes of Ryoshu's memories that flashed before my eyes. Ryoshu, is there anything you remember?
사루. 기억나는 건 이름뿐이군.
Interesting. I wonder if she went through, what's the word? So, you know how in Avatar, there's that one scene in Ba Sing Se, where, if you've even watched it, but effectively, there's a character who gets, like, brainwashed / hypnotized into just completely forgetting stuff. Just filling it with complete false memories. I wonder if something similar is happening to Ryoshu, where it was almost trained out of her to no longer remember certain things. I don't know. You mean...
시계. 너도 들여다봤듯이 내 머리 안은 난도질탕에 있다.
So, yeah, I'm thinking either some kind of brainwashing or some kind of training that's, like, forced her to forget.
순서도 모습도 제각각 엉켜있지. 그러니 나는 기억에 대해 설명할 수 있는 것이 없다.
상황 파악은 어느 정도 된 것 같군. 이곳에서 일어날 수 있는 최악의 사태는 외부의 침입과 함께 환상체나 뒤틀린 최종들이 동시다발적으로 탈출하는 상황이다.
와, 그건 진짜 상상도 하기 싫은데. 침입자들을 상대하면서 탈출한 괴물들까지 같이 제압해야 하는 거잖아.
그래. 그리고 우리는 지금 그 최악의 사태에 휘말렸지.
그렇구나.
Otis wasted no time at all to deliver the conclusion that kill everyone's morale.
순서대로 나열하자면 1차적으로 이곳 LC 부사가 정체불명의 세력의 기습을 받았다. 시각은 지금으로부터 약 2시간 전. 연구원들을 살해한 무기는 일정하지 않고 다양한 무기를 사용한 것으로 보이는군.
딸, 나를 보렴. 가장 긴 궤적을 그리는 직선의 무기를 사용할 땐 말이지. 나를 보렴. 작은 틈새로 목숨을 앗아가는 무기를 사용할 땐 말이지. 나를 보렴. 다한 것을 으깨버리는 유연한 무기를 사용할 땐 말이지.
Alright, I'm leaning more towards the training the memories out of her.
그놈답게 엉켜있군.
어떤 무기들이 쓰였는지 파악하기도 쉽지 않은 거군, 이거.
Ryoshu whipped her hair back, furrowing her eyebrows in annoyance.
최소 3개 이상의 무기를 능숙하게 사용하는 자라고 봐야 되겠군. 다시 이어서 말하자면 침입자들의 기습은 예측할 새도 없이 순식간에 수행되었고 LCE에서는 제대로 된 반격조차 이뤄지지 못했다. 학살에 가깝다고 볼 수 있지. 주목해야 하는 사실은 여기에 있다. 이들이 환상체의 격리실 문을 개방한 것은 습격이 성공적으로 종료된 이후로 보인다.
이상하긴 하네요.
They had insiders. It was Hohenheim. Hohenheim betrayed us.
보통은 그 반대로 하려고 하겠죠. 먼저 격리실 문을 개방시켜서 상황을 혼잡스럽게 만들고 나면 그 혼란을 틈타 마무리를 하는 것이 더 수월할 테니까요.
그래, 일반적으로 할 법한 전략은 아니지. 이런 변칙적인 수를 둔 이유는 두 가지 정도의 추측을 해볼 수 있다.
So, okay, real quick. If there is a ton of abnormalities running rampant right now, we better hope that Mountain is not running around or censored. Who else would be a huge problem? Mountain and censored are like the big two that are really body focused. I'm trying to think of anyone else. I know that there's a couple other abnormalities that have to do with bodies, but they're certainly the biggest two. We better freaking hope they're not around.
첫 번째로는 이들은 양동작전 따위가 필요 없을 정도의 실력자라는 것.
트럭에서 카론 씨를 붙잡은 그자 정도의 실력을 갖춘 이들이 여럿일 수도 있다는 것이겠네요.
두 번째는 일종의 후속 대처를 위해 일부러 환상체를 탈출시켰을 가능성이다.
후속 대처? 혹 그들이 습격했다는 사실을 숨기기 위해서라는 말인 겐가?
아니, 위정책은 가능성이 낮다. 시체를 집어먹는 환상체가 있었다면 모를까. 이렇게 특징적인 상흔을 남겨놓고서 할 만한 기만 작전은 아니겠지.
Oh boy, that really implies that Mountain might be around, bro. We are so doomed if he's out and about.
좀 더 타당한 건 우리와 같이 후속으로 진입할 본사의 지원군을 지연시키려는 목적이 있을 거다.
시간을 끈다는 건 그렇군요. 뭘 찾고 있나 보죠?
그래, 분명한 표적을 갖고 침입했을 가능성이 높다.
저들이 찾는 것이 이곳 어딘가에 있다는 거겠군요. 찾는데 오랜 시간이 소요되는 것이어서 저희의 발을 묶어 놓아야 하는 걸 테고요.
서둘러야겠어.
Hang on, I want to double check what was just said. They were looking for something that should be here, but it's so well hidden they had to distract us to buy time. It's not the... well... I was gonna say it's not the golden bows, but I guess that's technically not true, since not exactly a lot of people even know about them to begin with, huh? Oh my goodness, whoa! Ooh, I'm kind of liking the music already. So, 11 enemies, and it is just Pekatulums of every single type. Completely unrelated, but this particular story mission is called Paradox of the Spiral. Dude, I can't think of spiral-themed stuff without thinking about the Junji Ito stuff, where it's like that whole, like, spiral maze and, like, seeing the spirals and everything, and I'm pretty sure that branched into people being, like, I'm gonna call them conspiracies, about, like, spirals in the real world. Like, why does everything evolve to have a spiral? Look at snails, look at shells, you know, like... So the reason I bring that up is because I'm actually really curious if it's gonna go into something like that. About, like, they have eyes everywhere. Anywhere there is a spiral, they can see. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. Or maybe it's like a, maybe that's going on with Ryoshu. Maybe it's literally a spiral in her mind that keeps memories locked away, like a labyrinth. Huh? I don't know. As we were battling our way through the escaped Pekatula, Gregor came to a sudden stop.
잠깐. 어디서 숨소리 같은 거 안 들려? 좀 희미하긴 한데.
들린다. 이쪽 부근이군.
Mersault stared at the giant containment chamber door where it lay on the ground, smashed in and knocked loose.
최종이나 다른 적 해체일 가능성은?
낮은 편이다. 소리의 호흡이 불안정하고 작으니 부상당한 인간의 것에 가깝다.
이거 오티스 씨. 생존자의 가능성이 조금이라도 있다면 구하는 게 맞지 않겠어?
본사에 나쁜 인상으로 작용하진 않겠군.
Logistically, maybe. We knelt around the fallen door, slipped our fingers under the debris, and lifted. The door rose with a loud, metallic creak. Oh, it's you. I'd prefer if you don't die. Underneath the door was a woman, her breathing shallow.
이분은
She was one of Hohenheim's researchers who guided us through the regular checkup.
알리사예요. 이름까지는 기억 못하실 것 같아서.
Oh, don't worry, I definitely didn't. See, if Alyssa and the guy with the fairy, if they die, I'll be upset. If Hohenheim dies, who cares? Alyssa slowly shared her name. Her voice strained as if she was squeezing the air out of her lungs. She was covering her chest with her hands, overcome with pain.
알리사 씨 상태는?
숨을 크게 쉴 때마다 통증이 심해서 살려달라고 소리를 지를 수가 없었어요. 팀장님이 말씀하시던 게 생각나네요. 우리는 주인공이 아니기에 동전이 던져진다면 앞이 나올지 뒤가 나올지 그저 기다릴 뿐이라고.
One of you guys should definitely tell her not to be talking so much. Alyssa let out a brief, dejected chuckle before wincing with pain.
아니, 아프다는 양반이 무슨 농담 따먹기야. 잠깐, 이 말뚝은...
Alyssa's hand was grasped around the same spiral-shaped rod that the bodies in the hallway were holding.
무슨 일이 일어났던 거지?
경고음이 울리지 않았어요. 저희 부서는 조금이라도 뭔가 잘못되면 곧바로 경보가 발동되도록 설계되어 있었어요. 호헨하임 씨가 로보토미 코퍼레이션의 최후를 답습하게 되고 싶진 않으시다고 강력하게 주장하신 덕택이었죠.
Fair enough. I mean, it probably would have worked if it wasn't for this one. Or he's a traitor. A pained grimace crept into Alyssa's expression as she tried to calmly continue her explanation. It wasn't just from what was staked through her chest.
당신들이 습격을 알아차리기 직전까지도 아무런 경고음도 발동되지 않았군요.
네, 그래서는 안 되는 거였는데.
We waited quietly as Alyssa caught her breath and calmed down.
갑자기 불이 꺼졌어요. 이번에 진행하고 있는 실험 때문일 거라고 생각했어요. 전력을 많이 잡아먹는 실험이라고 팀장님이 종종 투덜거리시곤 했거든요. 그때부터 이상하다고 생각했어야 하는 건데.
Alyssa blamed herself to no avail, her voice growing faint.
그래서 시간이 지나면 자연스럽게 복구가 될 거라고 생각했어요. 다
다른 직원들도 마찬가지였죠. 대수롭게 여기지 않았어요. 왜냐면
경고음이 울리지 않았으니까요. 네, 이해해요.
저는 실험실에 가지고 와야 하는 자료가 있어서 그곳으로 향하고 있었는데 그러다가 들렸어요. 어둠 속에서 또렷하게 누군가의 구둣소리가 들렸어요. 느리지도 빠르지도 않은 여유 있으면서도 절도 있는 걸음걸이였죠. 그렇게 걷는 사람은 저희 부서엔 없어요. 다들 바쁜 마음에 종종 걸음으로 빨리 걸어 다니거든요.
What a crazy thing to make note of. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible, because there's been plenty of times in my life where you learn the pattern of your surroundings. You learn the pattern of people. You learn the pattern of things. So when there's something different, and it's noticeably different, it throws you off enough to where you hone in on it no matter how small it is. And so it's so interesting to me that she's like, someone was walking around super calm. That never happened, so I noticed it immediately. Like, it's a very realistic thing to have happen.
그 직후에는 누군가가 단말마 같은 비명을 지르는 것을 시작으로 끝없는 아비 교환이 이어졌어요. 무슨 일이 일어나는 건지 아무도 몰랐어요.
살려줘.
누구야? 앞을 향해서 달리는 것밖에는 도리가 없었어요. 그러다가 가볍게 스쳐가는 바람 소리가 느껴져. 곧 가슴이 뜨거워졌어요. 고개를 내려보니 이미 여기가 꿰뚫려져 있었고, 잠시 정신을 잃었다가 깨어보니 이미 격리실이 누군가에 의해 강제 개방되어 있었어요. 온갖 환상체와 죄종에 이어 뒤틀림까지 탈출하고 격리실 문이 튕겨 나가지는 바람에 옴짝달싹도 못하게 되었고요.
I wonder if it's only because of the ego suit she has on that she's alive. Because realistically, you'd be dead, right? Obviously, I know it's not very realistic to have a spiral spear thrown through the hall immediately into your chest, but like, I imagine the ego suit is probably the only reason she's even still alive.
호헨하임 씨나 다른 분들과는 같이 있지 않았던 것이군요.
팀장님, 팀장님은 발표실 근처에 계셨을 거예요. 혹시 제 주머니에 있는 종이와 펜을 좀 꺼내주실래요?
Alyssa drew a simple map on a piece of torn paper.
다른 분들이 무사할지는 모르겠어요. 하지만 이 방향대로 가면 아마 행방의 단서라도 찾을 수 있을 거예요.
그래, 그래. 대강 알겠으니까 이제 상처 좀 살펴보자고.
Feel like we should have been looking at it sooner, Gregor, but okay. Hey, so I know you've been bleeding out for like 30 minutes now, but now let's take a look. Gregor replied calmly.
진짜 피가 안 멈추잖아. 이거 평범한 무기가 아닌 것 같은데.
I imagine the spiral probably makes it extra easy to bleed out.
넌 뭐 좀 보이냐?
Heathcliff asked Otis with palpable concern.
움직임이 클수록 체내로 파고드는 구조로 보인다. 살상보다는 제압에 특화된 공방 제품 중 하나인 것 같군.
이 정도 물건을 쑤셔 넣었다는 건 죽이고 싶었다면 충분히 죽일 수 있었다는 거겠지. 팔을 묶어두고 싶었던 건지 아니면 악취미일 뿐인 건지.
가만히 있었기에 오히려 무사했나. 현명한 판단을 내렸군.
현명했기보다는 너무 아파서 움직일 생각도 안 들던데요.
상처를 봉합하거나 치료할 수 있는 걸 찾아온다면 무기를 뽑을 수 있지 않겠는가?
Well, hang on a minute. If it's a drill, and the more you move, it drills further into you, removing it in any case is just gonna, like, yank everything out. It ain't gonna be good.
그래, 영영 저런 걸 달고 있을 순 없잖아. 빨리 뽑고 상처를 치료해서.
소용없다.
Ryoshu spat out a reply.
소용없다니요? 혹시 뽑히지 않는 장치인가요?
아니, 뽑아내는 것은 어렵지 않아. 그러지 않는 편이 나을 뿐.
억지로 뽑으면 복도에 있던 그 시체들처럼 되는 거냐?
그래, 저 나선은 반대편에 도달하기 위해 끝없이 파고들지만 역설적이게도 그 자체만으로는 관통하지 못한다. 도달할 수 없거든.
쌀? 이건 나선이야. 한 번 박히고 나면 조금만 움직여도 계속 파고들기 때문에 제자리에 가만히 있을 수밖에 없단다. 처음에는 따끔한 가시처럼 느껴질 뿐이지만 빼내려 할수록 파고드는 무기지. 하지만 계속 파고들긴 해도 정작 꿰뚫고 나오진 못해. 끝에 도달하려 할수록 나선은 점점 느려져서 결국엔 끝에 닿을 수 없거든.
대체하는 방법은 알지? 네가 일을 끝내고 오면 알려줄 거란다. 만약 없이 뽑으려 했다간
파고들며 엉켜든 모든 것이 뽑혀 나올 거다.
I was right about the it ripping it out part.
그러니 살고 싶다면 지금처럼 가만히 있도록.
All I could see were these fragments of her memories. Its remnants.
없이 뽑으려 했다간 작은 숫자도 없이 뽑으려 했다간.
Once again, I recalled Ryoshu's shattered memories, with the distinct feeling of drawing something up to the surface. The scenes from her mutilated memories. As it was generally the case, I didn't know exactly how I did it. It just came naturally to me, the moment I wished for it to happen.
뭐가 좀 보였나 시계?
Ryoshu, what if that spiral needs a certain combination of numbers, like a password?
그 나선에 엮인 역사를 풀이하려면 그에 맞는 짝이 필요하단다. 짝이 맞는 숫자도 없이 뽑으려 했다가는.
Oh, I see. So it's like, quite literally, you need another spiral weapon. So we need to find whoever punctured her with it. Then I guess.
검과 검집, 음과 양, 과거와 미래, 나와 너. 모든 건 지독하고 지긋지긋하게 짝지어져 있는 것도 성이니. 죽는다는 게 뭔지 아니? 뭔가를 베어 죽인다는 건.
For a brief moment, an odd expression appeared on Ryoshu's face.
흰머리.
말씀하시죠.
나선은 해제할 수 있다. 시계의 말대로 그 해제는 숫자와 연관이 있을 테지. 하지만 정확히 무엇이 필요한지가 기억나지 않는군. 거북나선이라는 이름을 가진 나선 무기에 대해서 아는 게 있나?
That's another one. Turtles have spirals.
파우스트를 사용하는 방법을 조금이나마 깨우치셨군요. 제가 해당 장치를 시각적으로 확인하였고 류슈 씨가 범위를 좁힐 수 있는 단어들을 제공했으니 파우스트는 알 수 있습니다.
사용하는 방법이요?
Ignoring the curious looks from the sinners, Faust carefully walks up to the body and unclasps a spiral from their hands.
제논의 거북나선. 파우스트에 의하면 해당 장치는 그렇게 불립니다.
After some time, Faust pulled the bottom part of the spiral, opening its hatch.
자물쇠입니다. 대응되는 숫자는 7자리군요. 또한 알리사 씨의 피가 멎지 않는 이유는 나선이 심장을 관통하지 못할 뿐 파고드는 성질 자체는 영원하기 때문일 겁니다.
잠겨 있다면 요정으로 열 수 있지 않나?
Fairy.
F사의 특이점을 말하는 것이요. 잠겨 있는 것이라면 그 무엇이라도 열어주는 기술. 좋은 방안 아닌가?
요정으로 여는 것은 가능할 테지만 해당 나선 무기에 적용된 기술이 어느 정도의 가치를 지닌 장치일지가 중요하겠죠.
Just dawned on me. Fairy locks. Bina has a move called Lock that applies Fairy. Ah. F-Corp, though. I don't think we've ever heard of that before.
확실하게 하려면 고가의 요정이 필요하겠군. 그런 물품을 당장 근처에서 구할 수도 없는 노릇이고.
Does that also imply that the fairy debuff just opens you up? Ugh. That's that's disturbing. Ryoshu and the rest of us stared at the spiral lock with a degree of trepidation. We weren't going to be able to brute force a 7-digit lock.
안 될 거라고 생각하긴 하는데 0부터 계속 맞춰볼 순 없는 거냐?
Yeah, if we want to kill her.
보편적인 잠금 장치와 동일하게 일정 횟수 이상 틀린 번호로 입력할 경우
됐어. 그냥 개죽음 당한다는 거잖아.
마음 같아서는 솔직히 무서우니까 두고 가지 말아달라고 하고 싶거든요. 하지만 실험실 근처에는 살아있는 사람들이 모여있을지도 몰라요. 저희 팀장님 아시잖아요. 쉽게 당하실 분 아니에요. 차라리 그 사람들을 도와주세요.
하지만 이대로면
뭐 연구원이 멍청하게 죽는 100가지 방법에 나오는 것처럼 죽어서도 놀림받는 상황보다는 나은 것 같네요.
Perhaps working under Hohenheim has influenced her to put on a mask of aloofness even in situations like these. But it was clearly taking considerable effort on her part to maintain it. Were we in any other situation, I would have asked what those 100 dumb-wasted eye were to alleviate the tension. But I held my breath and embraced the painful silence. Someone else did not.
알리사군, 다시 돌아오겠네.
네?
반드시 다시 돌아오겠네. 그러니까 적들이 다가오는 것 같으면 최대한 몸을 피해있게. 부탁이니 포기하지 마세나.
참고로 얘는 한다면 하는 놈이니까 흘려듣지 마라.
네, 그럴게요. 감사해요.
C48.
Ryoshu quietly muttered to herself.
시계. 방탈출 해봤나?
IRL? I played a couple. 2, but a couple. What?
이건 일종의 방탈출 게임 같은 거다. 불의를 위해서는 단서를 모아야 하지.
A game, huh?
저 연구원 놈 살리고 싶은 것 아닌가?
Yeah.
그렇다면 저 나선에 쓰인 고유 번호가 필요할 테니 봐둔 것뿐.
Every step we took away from Melissa as she suffered a slow death was painful. I wasn't even sure if we could save her life. Shadows beset the path ahead. Oh, is that fairy guy over on the right? I hope it's not. Ishmael, who had been following the route Alyssa had mapped out, stopped in her tracks.
이스마일 씨, 왜 그러세요?
뭔가 의아해서요.
이스가 지도를 보고 있는데 귀를 잃을 리는 없고. 뭔데?
Rodion has a point. I think Ishmael would actually be one of the last people to read it wrong.
길은 잘 찾아가고 있는 중이에요. 다만 너무 수월해서 문제죠.
What's wrong with that?
우리가 지나온 길을 떠올려 보세요. 다른 길들은 별의별 상태로 전부 막혀 있었어요.
좌측의 복지부서로 이어지는 통로는 폐쇄된 상태였고 우측의 통제실에 있는 방향은 잔해로 막혀 있었다.
마치 우리가 한 길로만 가도록.
네, 마치 그쪽에서 풀어둔 미끼를 따라가고 있는 것 같아요.
뭐 그렇다고 해서 이곳으로 가는 거 이외의 방법은 없잖아. 찝찝하지만 어쩌겠냐.
각오는 해두어야겠구려.
잠깐, 파오. 이것 좀 봐봐.
I'd imagine it's not possible to just, like, bust out a few egos and break through debris. Probably not. I mean... Well... I don't know. Theoretically, yes, but maybe it's like the debris is made out of pure... infantinium or something.
환상체가 탈출한 흔적이 보이는군요.
Oh, fun.
개체명은 요정 초롱입니다. 거울 던전에서 몇 차례 조우해본 환상체죠.
Yes, we have. The one with the pretty, glowing fairy bait on it.
아, 그 나무 원본이 이거야?
Oh, I love it when they make sounds like that. It's so funny. I don't think Fey Lantern's the only abnormality that's broken free. Let's take them down and reduce them back to eggs. If they prey on any survivors who stumble in here, that'll be real trouble. Looks like there's been a bit of trouble. Are you alright? Well, not like I can do much to help. I don't recognize him saying that. Ooh, it starts with 3 of us charmed? Youch. Alright, what do you got that's new? Because you seem to have brand new stuff. Snagged Lure. Unclashable. Prioritizes sinners with Charmed. Charmed basically means they roll a 1-to-1 and have to attack. His skill's attack weight equals number of sinners with Charmed. On hit, inflict +2 rupture count, inflict 3 bleed, and the core and body heal 15 HP. Passives. Uncovered Abyss. Reveal body when fairy part is broken. All buffs and debuffs expire when the body hides again. Broken Stump. When the body is broken, fairy will have 60% of its max HP upon restoration. Core heals +20 more HP with skill effects. Charmed. Based on the number of units in this encounter, inflict Charmed on sinners with the slowest speed. Number of Charmed units increases every time the fairy part is restored. So, for example, it's at 3. Next time fairy shows up, it'll be 4. Cannot damage core HP by attacking the fairy. A certain skill gains attack weight based on the number of charmed units. That's this one. Evolving Lure. Fairy gains 30% increased max HP with each restoration. Whoa. Oh, that's new. Fairy Dust. When the fairy is killed, all identities gain 5 poise and +2 poise count next turn. Increased aggression. Partial deterrence release. Use more powerful skills after the fairy is restored for the second time. Lovely. Okay, well, we cannot clash. Using Magic Bullet is probably not a great idea, huh? Either way, we get a lot of Rupture, we get a whole lot of damage, and then, unfortunately, we just kind of have to hit with Fairy. Oh, it actually rolls higher than I'm used to. 6 + 6, but attacking Fey Lantern does 0 damage. Okay, and we can't attack anybody else. I was kind of wondering. Bink, bink. Burn. Funny that we're happening to use that identity during this, huh? Nice. And the Rupture is more than enough. It reveals itself through the murky depths. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of AoE attacks. What you got? Burrowing Roots. On hit, inflict +3 Rupture count and bleed count. Expanding Roots. Inflict 5 bleed and Rupture. And Infusing Stems. On Clash Lose, deal 80% less damage and it cannot stagger. It's an unbreakable coin, though. On hit, deal 5% more damage for every Rupture on the target, max of 100%. Any new passives? No, you're still safe. Okay. Well, you can tell we're out-leveled because we are not rolling very good. But we do have a bunch of poise, which is nice. So let's give it a shot. Oh, bad start. Ugh. Good. I was gonna say, if we go negative on Rodion, that's actually not too bad. -1 attack power, let's hope that it makes enough of a difference. We have an unbreakable coin even if we lose. We don't. Bit of burn, though. Ooh. That has some real potential, though. +2 Rupture count, and we crit. Skull Buster coming down, so we get a ton of our stacks. We also heal a little bit of SP. Oh, this Magic Bullet. Ugh, 65 damage on our own team. Okay, Lantern is back up. We are now up to 4. So, let's do as much damage as physically possible. Also, it can't be staggered before it uses this, huh? Oh. Oh, that extra health is nasty. Okay, and we can't stagger anyway, so all the damage we're doing is unfortunately moot. Oh man, it basically just went straight back to full health. Hang on, what's going on with this thing? It doesn't feel like the same entity we ran into in the mirror dungeon. If we are to delve deeper, it appears to mirror the one we encountered in the Refraction Railway. While Hohenheim does harbor some interest in this subject, he is not great enough a genius to turn that curiosity into reality. Then why could this possibly be happening? I'm trying to figure out who's talking.
Hold on, someone left this here. It seems to be a torn page of a note. It's covered in fluorescent paint, so it would be easier to spot.
It's Yellow Paint Man! Whoever left it couldn't have known we were coming. It's probably a note meant for possible survivors. No reason not to read it. Observation record. Irregularities. Oh, this is Fairy Lantern Guy. That Moses is his name. Written by Moses, LCD on-site investigative reasoning team leader.
The entity abruptly escaped its containment unit during the assault. Readers of this note should be warned that this entity shows some irregularities that have not been observed previously. When a high number of employees within the research facility were killed, the Fey Lantern breached containment.
Oh! Man, I know too many abnormalities that do that. At least, I used to.
Under the LCE's abnormality control protocols, such an escape is known to occur only when an employee with an inherently low aptitude exhibits an attunement level exceeding 75% with LCE Ego Phaelantern, or when the outcome of the managerial work is determined to be above very good.
Memories!
The Phaelantern, whose escape was triggered by deaths around it, has deviated from its expected behavior pattern of preying on charmed victims one by one, and instead has begun consuming multiple targets at once. Presumably, the entity must have realized that its food reserves were being rapidly depleted. After Ezra destroyed the After Ezra destroyed the luring unit twice, designated as Blue Fairy, in the LCB observation log, the Phaelantern's aggressiveness was significantly increased. At that point, Ezra was no longer affected by its charm. Based on these observations, I was able to establish a hypothesis that anyone who observes the Blue Fairy for at least 7 seconds and then immediately destroys its head becomes immune to its influence. As this effect only applies to the individual who destroys it, this information may not be of much use to most researchers. However, I shall leave a note of it to be consulted should the need arise. Addendum. When the Phaelantern identified only a single individual, it did not attempt to charm them, and instead appeared wary enough to simply watch them. Yet, due to the limited sample size, further confirmation will be necessary.
Is it saying that we should just fight it solo? Is that what this is implying? That's quite a bit of useful tips.
Well, now I think I've got a rough idea of how to deal with it.
Alright, let's refer to this record for the intel and try suppressing it again. So, fight it solo? Is that what it's telling us to do? I don't think I completely understand. I am gonna test a theory, though. Well, time to test the methodology. Okay. Now, we go for max resonance. Okay, this is where things get a little bit scary. However, we get absolute resonance with just ourselves. So, let's try. Well, this seems to be working so far. Also, the fact that this particular version of Ryoshu gets a shield based on the amount of stacks that she has means that we actually took no damage for that entire turn. How interesting. I don't want to go for Serious Skullbuster, at least not yet. We are going to get a counter dice, though. Okay. We get hit. It's not enough to break our shield. Counter dice immediately getting used. We already know what this is about. Keep reading the record. It's basically just telling us what we already know. Okay. Oh, this sucks. So we're gonna have to use a counter dice and just use up one of our Serious Skullbusters, which I'm not super happy about, but whatever. Yeah, because we would have used up our charges anyways, I think. Okay, this is where we want to start going absolute sicko mode. So let's go boom, boom, boom. Then absolute resonance. boom. Which ones are we not clashing with? This one? And this one. Seems good to me. Here we go. Big hits coming down, and we're dealing an extra 25% bonus because of the note that we just read. Serious Skullbuster. That's a stagger. Okay, we are going to lose all of our stacks next turn, but that's fine. Multiple rounds of Serious Skullbuster coming down. We don't even get to use our counter dice. So now none of the stacks we get this turn actually matters, so we're just going to go for Absolute Resonance instead for both purple and blue. Okay. Now triple hits coming down. So much bleed damage. Okay. So this is where we start getting permanent fragile as well. This is actually really, really good. I'm going to do Serious Skullbuster because, or rather regular Skullbuster, we don't have enough stacks for it to be the Serious Skullbuster just yet. So I think we're actually going to be totally fine. Okay. Big hits coming down. There is still going to be an attack that we can't do anything about unless we get a stagger here. Which we don't, because we actually take out the fairy before it's time. Oh, does that mean we don't get the permanent 5 fragile, though? That's actually a really big problem. Also, what is this? Uncovered Abyss. If target is 5+ rupture, deal 100% more damage. But if it loses the clash, deal 80% less. Okay, counter dice. There is, in fact, a Serious Skullbuster, so we go boom. No, actually, I'm just going to maximize damage. This is Gloom Resonance, so it's good enough. We're dominating. And then we get regular Resonance as well, so we're clashing basically everything, and the only thing that is going to hit us, we're immediately going to be able to retaliate and gain a lot more stacks. Yeah, we should be alright. Big hits coming down. Big hits. Not a single clash will pass through Ryoshu. Serious Skullbuster! Bink! We don't hit heads, but that's fine. Big crits coming down. Okay, only 12 damage, I believe. Counter dice being used. Okay, regular Skullbuster coming down. So close. If we had that extra 5 fragile, it was actually over this turn. That lack of 5 fragile actually prevented us from getting the kill this turn. However, I think we've got this. We can't gain any stacks this turn, so we are just going to go for our attacks that hit the absolute hardest. Skullbuster here, then we go boom, then we get Absolute Resonance. We just have to win enough clashes to win this. The -2 attack power. So I believe the -2 attack power is actually because Ryoshu is alone, by the way. Can you stop hitting heads? Stop hitting heads, please? Thank you. It's over. Oh, please connect. Please connect. I did that first try after putting her solo. You can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed? No! No way! Oh! The game was like, no. You don't get to first try that, pal. Do it again. Oh, no! Oh, alright. Well, what? I guess the servers are down. Really? They just happen to go down mid-fight? Oh. Oh! Okay, no. We're good. We are so good. We only took 165 damage throughout that entire fight while dealing just enough health. Okay. So when the letter said only bring one person, it meant it. Also, this is a battle only, and it's clear within 15 turns. That sounds scary. Oh, I'm one short. Yeah, that's what I get for turning it into the boxes. Ooh. Uh-oh. Wayward passenger. Dimensional slice. On use gain +3 charge count. Clash lose consume 2 charge count instead. On hit inflict 3 rupture. Consecutive dimensional slice. On use gain +3 charge count. Consume 2 on clash lose. On hit inflict 3 dimensional rift. Basically a whole lot of rupture. Prepared retribution. On use gain +1 charge count. On hit inflict 2 rupture count and then 2 rupture. Passives. Dunno. Forced dimensional breach attempt. Partial deterrence release. Add 60% or less core HP, end the turn and gain a new pattern. Deactivate dimensional escape passive. Deactivate trap dimensional escape passive. If neither of its arms are broken, use a powerful skill every few turns. And then we don't know. Oh boy. Well. Counter. Ugh. Struggling, so we'll go favored. Hopeless, so we'll let you take over. Hopeless is fine, and then we are unopposed right there. Well, here's hoping for the best. We're not getting it. Oh, okay, well that actually does help quite a bit. A little bit of charge for us. Unleash our violence. 58 damage. Suppress. Okay. Ouch. Would you take a little bit of one-sided damage, but that's fine. Losing the clash on Yi-Sung isn't too big of a deal because we still get the hit and we apply a bit of rupture, although he still hits us with the counter dice, but we hit him with a magic bullet. Ouch. Big damage coming down onto Dawn, and we are now negative for Rodion. So are these different? If this dimensional rift remains, deal 10% more damage. Uh-huh. So 10% more damage, gain health, coin power, and speed. Okay. 38, that's not enough. 66, that should be enough. Which one was this? More health? Okay, we don't want that one surviving. That one's gotta go. So die. More damage could be a problem. Make sure that this one is dead and then do a tiny bit of damage to that one. Okay. Good thing we double up on that one. Hopefully Dawn does enough. Ah, she won't. Wow, we don't even kill the green dimension. Apparently, I should have doubled up a little bit more, but I actually thought that we had a lot more damage than that. So, now we're in trouble. Opportunity spotted. If target has Dimensional Rift, deal 20% more damage. On hit, inflict 3 Dimensional Rift. And then basically do the same. And then that is the same deal, same deal, same deal, same deal. Okay. Unfortunately, we are struggling with basically everything, so if we hit win rate, apparently the game says that we have a decent chance, so you know what? We're just gonna let the game decide on this one. Okay, green is dead. Hey, apparently the game knows better than I do. Okay, that's one more down. I saw... Oh, and then we get rid of the final one. Here he comes. What is this? Rip space. Add 10 plus charge count. Consume 10 charge count to gain clash power plus 5 and deal 100% more damage. At less than 10 charge count, consume 100 core HP and deal 80% more damage. This unit's HP cannot drop to 0 due to the skill's effect. On Clash Lose, gain the following effect. Gain 2 paralyzed, deal 80% less damage, and can't stagger, and it does not activate Rupture. On Head's hit, gain plus 2 charge count. On hit without cracking, inflict Dimensional Rift. And then do it again. Discharge byproducts. On used, gain 4 charge count, consume 2 charge count, and on hit, inflict 5 Rupture. Okay. Well, we're actually favored here, so I'm going to let that one roll. Ooh, unfortunately we're unopposed regardless of what we do. That is because of his extra speed. Unopposed regardless of what we do here. Unopposed again. Unopposed yet again. Okay, this is really looking just super bad for us. And then... we'll go for scissors if we survive, I suppose. Plus 2 rupture count, it helps. Him doing AoE damage to us is certainly not great, though. Yisong does get staggered, but he already got his attack off, so that's fine. Okay. This is gonna hit so hard. Oh, yeah. Killed him on the first attack, and it didn't even hit heads. Ouch. Okay. We do hit the scissors, so the best passive in the video game is now in effect. He immediately runs again. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of forgot he does this. I'm so used to killing him in like 2 turns. Okie dokie. Same deal. 10% more damage, more health. Yep. He's back. Wait, what? Wait. Oh, I guess we didn't stop you. I was gonna say, why do you have 2 stacks in this? Yeah, I guess technically we never stopped you, huh? High speed rip space. Can clash with the skill regardless of speed. Cannot be staggered before using this skill. On Clash Lose, gain 2 power down and 1 paralyzed. Deal 90% less damage. Gain 1 clash power for every dimension effect on self. Deal 10% more damage for every dimension self on... Well, that is a little bit of a problem now, isn't it? We are dominating here, though, so that's nice. We didn't take any damage, so that should get us some relatively good effects. Then we go big damage, even bigger damage. And let Dawn do the talking. Farewell. Oh yeah. You're donezo, pal. I don't think I'll ever get tired of that animation. That was 90% less damage, by the way. Oh boy. And apparently gets a new effect at 60% health? Oh. Oh, we are so in for it. Left blade is broken, though. And we're negative on Dawn. If this fight's been anything to go by, it'll soon emerge from one of the dimensional rifts. If we can intuit its next point of emergence, maybe we can deal a fatal blow against it before it fully emerges from the dimensional rift. Guaranteed. Soon, the entity began crawling out of the dimensional rift that Otis selected. Though it sensed the sinner's presence before it emerged, it didn't have enough time to act before Otis swung their weapon at it. The entity hurriedly closed the dimensional rift as it fled back into its safety. That seems to have destabilized the dimensional rift. Opportunity.
무엇이든 맞출 수 있는 탄원이니 말입니다.
3 offense level down, and Otis gains 3 offense level up. So we have 7 more turns? Seemingly. You know what? Counter dice, big hit, debuff him next turn, apply a ton of rupture. We're unopposed here, so that sucks. Big damage here, big damage here. He is going to hit us with some of those attacks, but you know what? We're going to hit him harder, if not just as hard. Blink, bink, bink. Here it comes. Big attack incoming. Okay, both blades broken. Well, both blades staggered. One is recovering this turn. Okay. He is just going for relatively big attacks all around. We're dominating regardless of what we do. I forget which hand actually has which status. And it doesn't tell us either. Could be slightly problematic. We are going to hit him with a bit of Paralyze. Dominating here, that actually frees up an opportunity. Okay, let's try it out. We only have like 800 more damage to go. We've got this. Ouch. Ishmael does take quite a bit of damage. Unleash! 88 damage. We are getting close to actually breaking one of his blades. Okay, we have 5 more turns if we want to hit the bonus objective. We have 5 more turns before the bonus objective wears off. So, let's see what we can do. This... Okay, well, so much for 100% going to distort, because that didn't happen at all. Well, you know what? It'll be fine. Everything is okay. 60 damage total, little bit of sinking on both. Ouch! Tell you what, that counter damage was certainly a little bit unexpected. Representation emitter is gonna get whoever's still alive a little bit of SP back. Plus, it only hits one of his limbs. Third sword. The finale awaits. Get him. That just about killed him. Doubt is who remains. But I think we're gonna call this episode right here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And in the next one, we're gonna continue our abnormality streak. Because I'm all but certain that it's probably not just gonna be 3. It's probably gonna be a lot of them. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.